All right, everybody, we are live. This colorful little house in the background, we're gonna go in for the first time and we're gonna walk through this thing and we're gonna see what we have. But before we get done with this project, we're also gonna price it out. We're gonna talk about what you have to do to get this, accomplish this job, and what it's like being a demo contractor and tackling something like this. Now, when I say tackling, this really isn't that big of a deal. But the tackling part of it comes because I am in, I don't know how to put this delicately, liberal St. Paul, Minneapolis. And that basically means some of you are cringing and some of you are clapping, and I don't care either way. But it does mean to me as a contractor, I have a ton of extra paperwork, red tape, bureaucracy, and other fun stuff that I have to do before I get to come in and do my real job. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna work or not. It's giving me a little bit of problems, but I'm out at a demo site. We're gonna be doing a walkthrough on this house. We're gonna be talking about numbers. We're gonna be talking about the process, what it takes from start to finish to accomplish a project like this. Now, I'm only in the bidding portion of this job, but I wanna tell you about what you guys gotta do when you're going into it, tackling it for the first time. To clarify, I am in liberal St. Paul, Minneapolis, and like I said earlier, but I don't know if you guys got it or not, some of you are gonna clap, some of you are gonna cringe. It doesn't make a difference. That's not what this is about. But what I do need to be aware of is all of the headaches, hassles that are associated with paperwork on a project like this. Now, the very first thing that I look for when I come into a site like this is I look up. So you've got to imagine that you're gonna have a big excavator out on a site like this to take this house down. What's above you? What is the arm of that excavator gonna be hitting? We've got power lines coming in here. We've got a tree in the front. We've also got more power lines around the side. So although we've got this giant, awesome backyard that we can park right here and just go to town on this little house, we have no access to it without removing these utilities. But that is part of our job. Flip this around so you guys can see me. That's part of our job, plain and simple. We have to get everything prepped and ready, and there's more work, guys, in prepping a site like this than there's actually doing the job, I swear to God. In St. Paul, Minneapolis, to do a project like this is what I'm gonna have to do. You see that siding? I know that's asbestos. I can look at that right now and tell you 100% that that is asbestos-based siding. So my asbestos contractor has to come in, he has to test it, then he has to have it analyzed, he has to make sure that it's under 1% friable asbestos before I can take it anywhere. And when I do want to take it somewhere, well, guess what happens then? I have to bring the report in so that the dump site knows that the material I have is good to go. Otherwise, they won't allow me to dump it. You hear all this traffic in the background? I have to disconnect the utilities on this site, but not at the property line. That would be too easy. Not inside the foundation. That would be like a dream. I have to actually go into the street to disconnect those utilities. That means I've got to shut down a lane of traffic. I've got to dig up the street. I've got to disconnect it at the water main, and then I have to patch that street back up. But the city of St. Paul won't let me do that without the right permit. How you doing?
I'll come help you take a picture. You
That's okay. That's okay. So I'm in St. Paul, and this is an interesting area, an interesting neighborhood to be in too, because one block down that way, my buddy got shot right in the back. Doesn't mean this is a bad neighborhood, but also means it's something else to think about when you're out here working. Now, another thing to consider when I come into a house like this is I'm not just backfilling this site, I'm actually going to be prepping it for a parking lot. This is a yoga studio that I'm at right now, and they don't have any parking they've got a building that's no good to them and they need an answer. So we're gonna knock it down, we're gonna fill this hole up, but we're gonna prep it so that they can asphalt it over it. Let's go inside and see what we've got going on. I don't know how my connection's gonna be, and I don't know how the audio, maybe it'll actually improve a little bit. So anytime I go into a house demo, the 3 things I always carry with me is light, because there's no lights. The power's always shut off. You never know if you're gonna have people already inside of it. This is an important thing to consider, and maybe I'm talking a little too fast for you guys, but this is the way I think. When you first walk into a house like this, you don't know if it's occupied. In an area like this, it very likely could have people seeking shelter. And I don't blame them. I mean, it's still 30 degrees at night, and it's not good weather, and when you've got an empty house, well, you might as well take advantage of it. But sometimes those people don't like to have company when they're not expecting it. So, shoulders getting sore running this mobile app. So I always make sure that I clear the house out. I speak loudly before going into it. And what I mean is, hello, anybody here? And I'll knock, walk in, and then I look down. A lot of times these homes have floors ripped out. I look up, the ceilings could be tore out. You never know what you're gonna find, but I'm gonna switch the camera and I'm gonna let you be my eyes. So hang tight. Now I hope you guys can see okay. There's not much to this house. The bathroom, this is it. It's a single-story home. Here's the bathroom. Kitchen, small kitchen. Here's something that's going to be interesting. You see this light right there? That has got to have compact fluorescent bulbs in it. I've got to separately remove those. This sink, believe it or not, I've actually got to go underneath this sink and see if it's got asbestos. Now, I do have to have it officially tested, but after doing this for so many years, you can just look at it and go, yep. All of these appliances that are in this home, they get recycled. That means they get hauled out separately, they get disposed of separately. Let's walk through the rest of this place and see what we've got. So I'm in the main living area. Here's something. All right, here's something that we've got to deal with. Now, to most people, this may not look like much, okay? But to me, when I look at this siding, when I look at this insulation, this is the worst kind of insulation you can have. Part of the problem with insulation like this is that as soon as you tear this down, the wind catches it and it blows away. To have that batt insulation is so much better than to have this loose stuff, because I'm gonna have to knock this down and then I've got to water it while I'm doing it, but I've got to make sure that I'm getting water over every square inch of this demo as I'm going through it, because as soon as any of that goes, I'm creating a hazard to everyone around me. Let's walk outside real quick and see what we've got, because we've got no ability to have this stuff floating around. We've got houses right next door. We've got houses across the street. We've got more houses around the entire neighborhood and a business center right here. So you can imagine knocking this down and having insulation flowing all over these guys' home. No, we can't do that. It just doesn't work out that way. Now, there's something interesting about this house. It's got a basement, but it doesn't have an inside basement, meaning that this little teeny tiny home, they have to go outside to get down into their basement. Now, in some areas where you're watching from, that may not be a big thing. In Minnesota here, we normally have access to our basement because that's where we keep our furnace, and if we ever want to walk downstairs and get at it to do any maintenance or repairs, the last thing we want to do is get our tootsies cold and walk outside, but that's what we're going to do. The important thing that I look at before I walk outside, the important thing I look at when I'm looking at the basement is, what is the basement made out of? What are the blocks made out of? This is absolutely monumentally important to understand. Now, this is an older home. I can already tell this is going to either have a rock foundation basement, a concrete masonry unit, or a CMU basement. But the last thing you want is a poured basement. Poured basements are very strong. Compared to a CMU or a rock foundation basement, a poured basement is like night and day difference. In fact, when it comes to figuring out whether I'm going to be bidding it, I have to allocate extra time in just to understand if I'm going to put an extra day or two in digging that basement out, and I'm going to have a lot more material to haul out. So let's go check out this basement and see what we've got going on with it. We're going outside. There's no landscaping that has to go out on this project, so we're good there. Once I get all of the utilities removed, I get the plumber to come in and do a license cut. He's got to be a master certified plumber. I'll have the sewer and water disconnected at one fell swoop. I've got to have, you can see in the background right here, got to have, that is the phone. No, is that the electric? That's the electric, sorry. That's got to be off the house. It can't stay on there, of course, because, I mean, you just can't have it. So here's the basement, by the way. They had this all barricaded up with bicycles. Not the easiest thing to get into. I don't know why they did that, but let's go. I'm gonna flip the camera so you're gonna be my eyes here real quick. Golly, there is no headroom down in this basement. Check this out. Look at that antique washing machine. Dude, that is so cool. That's a ringer. That's got the ringer attachment in it. Man, oh man. Oh, I want to see this. Ugh, cobwebs everywhere. You know, it'd be cooler is if it had like a roller on it, like the old hand roller. Dude, that would be so awesome. Ugh, I love running into stuff like this. Cobwebs everywhere. And the smell down here. Well, okay, there you go. There's where the smell's coming from. Got a couple old toilets. That furnace, look at this. They got a high efficiency. Oh, check this out. That is a cool bicycle. If the rest of the part, I bet the parts are here somewhere. That thing is awesome. Those things are expensive. See? See the problem? You come into a house like this and you're like, look at that! Oh, look at that! And pretty soon, your house looks like a hoarder home. What else do we got? A bunch of porcelain sinks down here. Okay, here's the gas line, comes in right through here. Oh, what is down here now? Look at, there's absolutely no headroom. I can't even stand up in this basement here. I'll get between the, there we go. Now I can. Ah, what are we looking at for a foundation? Okay. We are looking at, it's a stone foundation. So it's just got stucco over the top of it to make it look prettier. So this stuff will crumble. When I'm tearing this house out, this stuff, we can turn this almost into dust. Now we can't leave it all behind, especially this site, because we got to turn it into a parking lot. So we've got to bring structural fill soil in, compact it, and bring it up. Oh, here we go. This is how they used to get in. And I bet that's the living room. So somebody boarded up their access from inside the home to give them more floor space. Each their own. Okay, so water meter. Here we go. This has to be removed separately. I better bring the meter in to St. Paul's Water and Utilities. Drop that off. Got an old water heater and a bonus old water heater. Yay. A couple other things we gotta haul away. Let's see what else we're doing here. Okay, here's the Xcel Energy. We're still connected, so that has to be taken care of. We know we've got gas in the house. We saw the gas line. In fact, here it is. This is a gas water meter. Look at the cobwebs down here everywhere. Doesn't smell that bad down here. Either that or my nose has kind of been desensitized a little bit. What else do we got? So now let's go through some pricing. You know, a house like this doesn't have a whole lot of debris. We'd probably price out the clean out. Oh God, there's cobwebs everywhere. Clean out of this house, maybe $300. A dumpster, a simple 10-yard dumpster, a couple different trips to different recycling places, and we're good to go. What else are we gonna look at? Disconnecting the water and the sewer. That has to be done by a licensed plumber. That's gonna average, now I gotta get a quote, but you're gonna average is gonna be anywhere from $2,500 or so, depending on if it's in bedrock, okay? Especially in this area, the utilities can be embedded in rock. Now I know down in Arizona it's common, and in other parts of the country that's just par for the course, but here we have all sorts of materials. We have clay, we have all sorts of things. We have to take that into consideration, and we have to actually look and see originally how it was done. And that'll give us an idea of what materials we're going to be working in. A standard utility disconnect can go from $2,500 all the way up to, I've seen them for over $5,000 that shouldn't, you know, just because of the material, the rock and the other materials that are in there. Part of the bureaucracy that we have to go through is the MPCA, the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, has to have a 10-day notification, meaning that we have to tell them 10 days ahead of time that we've located all the asbestos, we've removed all the asbestos, we've generated a report saying that we've gotten rid of all the asbestos, and show them that it's clean and clear. Once we do that, they have 10 days to sit on it and go, okay. And literally that's it. But in this area in St. Paul, we also have to get a hold of the county, and this is an absolute extra step that we never needed to do before. But again, this is the state of bureaucracy where red tape abounds. And so then the county comes in after we've already cleared everything, after we've already cleaned everything, and the county says, yep, or they say, nope, we want you to do things like, oh, here, perfect example. This. Now this paint can would never be, this is a paint can, would never be picked up on asbestos report, okay? This paint can. But the county will pick that up. And the county will say, you not only have to dispose of that, but we want a receipt to know where you disposed of it. Just getting rid of it isn't good enough. We want to have a receipt showing that you brought it into a licensed facility for disposal. And the reason they did that is a lot of these demo contractors, look at the cobwebs, a lot of these demo contractors were mixing that stuff in their loads and just dumping it off. They weren't doing things the right way. And it created a lot of problems for guys that were trying to do things the right way. So now we have extra steps that we have to go through. But let's just go over this one last time. We've got the house demo. An average house like this is going to be about 12 grand to knock down. We've got to disconnect the utilities. We're going to say that's $2,500. We've got to test for asbestos, which is going to be $250, $300 or so. There is asbestos in this house. We've got to get the asbestos, a licensed abatement contractor, to tell us, ouch, exactly how much it is to disconnect, to remove the asbestos. We've got to generate the report, turn it into the MPCA. Once we do that, we've got to bring the county out, let the county know. Ooh, we have a very bad connection. I'm going to hold on here, guys. Very bad connection. Why? Oh, you know, it's because I have AT&T. I only spend $400 a month on my phone service, so that's why we have a bad connection. I'm sorry if I'm losing some of you guys right now. I'm just gonna hold on. I may have to end this because you guys are probably not hearing me, but I hope that I've helped you guys out. I don't know what else I can do because my connection is going offline here, so hope this has helped you guys out. God bless. Go get them. Catch you guys later.